What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Overdose. I'm your host, DonJaye. Today I'm joined with a special guest. Introduce yourself.
I'm Isabel. You guys can call me Iz.
All right, Iz. Women complain. When women complain, stop doing this. Would you call yourself a complainer in a sense?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you find yourself complaining about?
Look, if I'm being honest, it's something about complaining that just makes me feel better. Like physically, like I just got to get it out sometimes.
Okay.
And, like, y'all can come at me, but that's just me. Like, it's just little things. Like sometimes, like I'll be like, "Damn, it's hot." I'll be like, "I'm sweating." The fuck? Like I don't know. It turned me out.
Question. When you do complain with a guy, not necessarily your girlfriends, but with a guy, do you want him to solve the problem or just listen to your problems?
Listen. And sometimes, like, I like it when you argue with me. Like, if I'm like, it's hot, and you're like, bitch, shut the fuck up. You knew it was gonna be hot when we came out. Then I'll be like, all right, like, you got me there. So,
fellas, let's move on. Let's continue. All right, so we're about to jump into a video by Alexander Grace. When women complain, stop doing this. Let's go.
The woman says to her boyfriend, I have a problem. The man says, I have a solution. The woman says, I hate you. You are an awful boyfriend. The man sits down at his computer, goes onto YouTube and types, I don't understand women. And luckily comes across my channel where I explain what the hell just happened. I'm going to make a bold prediction and say that this video that you're about to watch is probably going to go down as one of the most important videos I've ever made. And I'm going to ask a favor of my female audience members. I know that you're the minority, you only make up about 5% of my audience, but please do not stay silent on this one. I want to see you in the comment sections. If I'm wrong, please tell me that I'm wrong. But if I'm right in what I'm about to say, please back me up. Share your personal thoughts and your own experiences. Men need to hear this.
All right, well, let's get into it.
I'm talking, of course, about what a man is meant to do when a woman is complaining and she's talking about her problems. How is a man meant to respond? We all have problems, both genders, but we deal with it quite differently. See, women, they don't tend to suffer silently. Men, we tend to sort of bottle it all up, keep our emotions to ourselves, talk about our problems. But if a woman has a problem, something that's bothering her, you're going to hear about it. So, your girlfriend comes to you with a problem. She's not happy at her job. She's upset because her friend was mean to her. She doesn't know how to work this website. Now, a lot of men get excited when this happens because they view it as an opportunity to demonstrate their masculinity. That's what we're good at as men, problem solving. And so when our girlfriend has a problem, that's our chance to shine, to swoop in and play the hero. In the male mindset, they view this almost as like a performance review. Like the quicker I'm able to diagnose and solve her problem, the more impressive my masculinity is going to appear to be. And so I'm going to work at this efficiently and diligently and sort all this out really, really quickly. And if I do that, she's going to be super impressed with me. All those...
Okay, question. Because obviously we got to pause throughout the video. For you personally, have you dated someone that was just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's cool. Versus, okay, what happened? What did happen? Blah, blah, blah. What can I do to help and how to fix it? And what are your thoughts between the two?
I've never dated someone that's just like, okay, that's tough. Never. Typically, yeah, I do date the guys that are like, okay, what happened? What's wrong? How can I alleviate your stress? Like, is there anything I can do to help? Yeah. And what's happened with that is most times it's like reassuring. Like, they're very helpful. Their input does help, and it changes my perspective, helps me calm down, see the problem for what it is, and calm down my over-exaggeratedness. So, it's turned out good for the most part, I'd say.
Okay, got you.
Hours solving engineering problems, playing chess, playing video games. It's just honed my problem-solving skills to prepare me for this moment. I am going to wow her with my masculine skills. The quicker I fix this problem for her, the more appreciative she's going to be for me. Wrong, wrong, wrong. When you jump in and just start solving problems and offering solutions like that, women hate it. Now, often she'll understand that you have...
Hold on, he said something very powerful just now. What are your thoughts?
I could see where it's like the wrong, because if she's really caught up in the problem, like chances are probably a little bit hormonal, like, oh my gosh, I can't solve it, it's the end of the world, like clouded by her emotions. So when you even just say anything like, she's like, shut the fuck up, you're annoying me already, I didn't need your input. Like, I could see where that comes in, because sometimes I get a little agitated, like, whenever like people try to help me out, but I feel like I have everything solved out. That's on my part. Like,
okay.
Sorry, just put that out there. But
oh man,
I can see where it gets like that. You get a little catty. We're a little catty.
For a problem that's yours, that a guy is trying to help you.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue. Wow.
Good intentions, and that you're just trying to help in your own way, and so she'll just roll her eyes and think, oh god, men are so clueless. Or her response might be more vitriolic, and she might actually get angry at you, and it's gonna create a fight. You're gonna have an argument. The reason is that as a man, you haven't totally understood what the woman is seeking from you specifically. Let me explain. When a woman comes to you with a problem, she wants 4 specific things, and these 4 things, they have to come in a very precise order. If you mess up this order, then you mess up the entire thing. Number 1, she wants validation of her emotions. Number 2, she wants a full exploration of the problem. Number 3, she wants assistance finding her own solution. And number 4, she wants support moving forward. Okay, let's talk about number 1 first, validating emotions. For a woman, when something negative occurs in her life, like maybe she missed a deadline and her boss is angry with her, when something like that happens, it actually creates 2 issues. Yes, there is the practical issue of the missed deadline, but before you can even get to that, there is the issue of all of the negative emotions that spring up because of the issue. She's feeling guilty, she's feeling sad and depressed, she's feeling unfairly judged, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what the specific event is.
So guys gotta be therapists out here in this bitch. That's what I'm gathering so far from this situation. So for you personally, he just listed the first one, which is validate your emotions. Do you feel that that is true?
Yeah. He literally has a whole set. Like, he really pondered on this. Like, that's really good.
He definitely has some good
he
research.
Bodied that. Yeah, like, I like that little layout that he has. But yeah, like, you know, if you did that, it's over.
Okay, let's continue then.
You need to understand is that for everything that occurs in a woman's life, there is going to be a corresponding emotional response. Those emotions need to be expressed, explored, understood, and most importantly, validated before anything else can happen. You cannot drive a car unless it has fuel in it. Likewise, you cannot get a woman to drive towards the solution to her problem unless she has been refueled, and the way you do that is validating and exploring her emotions. So when a woman comes to you upset because of a problem, do not focus on the details of what went wrong, at least not at first. First, pay attention to her mood. Talk to her about how she is feeling. Comfort her, stroke her, tell her that she's safe, she's protected, that it's going to be all right. Tell her that it's okay to be upset, that there's nothing wrong with her emotional response. That's your first job as a man, to create a safe space for her to explore and feel her own emotions.
Can I interrupt? Can I bounce off that?
What?
That was like really, really well said, because I feel like personally, like when I come across a really frustrating problem, it's hard to even picture the solution to the problem when you're just so clouded by your emotions, like when you're angry or frustrated. So to be able to calm someone down, bring them down from the emotions that they're feeling and kind of draw them back to reality, be like, look, being mad is not going to solve your problem. Go ahead, hash it out, be angry, get mad at the world, but come back and realize that we got to tackle this problem together. Like that was really well said. I like what he said right there. Like,
oh no, I'm telling you,
it's hard to figure out the solution when you're clouded by your emotions. So that's a good way to start.
Wow. So, okay, because again, just like you said in the beginning of the video, majority of guys be like, okay, you got a problem. Okay, how can we fucking solve this problem? How can we solve this solution? Instead of, I guess, making you comfortable in a sense to then solve it with you.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. That's what I'm picking up. All right.
Cannot rush this process. If you start getting bogged down in the details of her issue and start rushing to find solutions to this problem, she's not going to listen to you, because she'll feel like you haven't actually listened to what's bothering her. She will feel as though your attempts to solve her problem is actually you just being annoyed at her emotions and not wanting to deal with her. You can't do that. Women won't forgive a man who's that clueless, because to a large extent, women really identify with their emotions. How a woman feels That's like her identity in that moment. And unless you give that full support and validation, then you're going to have no credibility. Now, after that, you can move on to step 2, and that is to...
Okay, before we move on to step 2, what are your thoughts overall on step 1 of what he said?
Beautiful. Very well said. Because, I mean, just to even get someone to listen and the whole, like, giving out a speech process, you have to establish the credibility, that sense that your audience can trust you and trust what you're saying and listening to you. You have to grab their attention and be like, okay, calm down. This is what we're going to go through today, and establish that credibility before anyone even takes in any of the information that you're going to give to them. So that was perfect, honestly.
Okay, all right.
Shouts out to him.
Let's move on.
Fully explore the problem. Pay attention, this one's quite nuanced. A lot of men make this mistake because what they do is they listen to a woman describe her problem and then they prematurely jump in with a solution before the real problem has been adequately explored in its entirety. When a woman comes to you with a complaint, you need to think of it as though you're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole lot more underneath that you haven't yet seen. You don't actually know how deep the problem goes, and so if you rush in too quickly with a solution, you're going to get it wrong because you don't have all of the available data. You didn't take that time to find out the full extent of the problem. She's not going to be happy with you, so you've got to give her the time and space to fully explore it at her own pace. Even if it seems as though you've heard enough, like you feel like you've got a good grasp on what's going on, you've heard enough details, you know what the problem is, you know what the solution is, be humble, bite your tongue, just stay quiet. You don't know, there may be more. Instead of being quick to offer solutions.
I want to pause really quickly and say, this sounds like a lot of work. I'm going to keep it a buck.
And I was kind of thinking too, like when he was saying that, like I really resonate with this video. Like I feel like this could apply to me because I am a very complex woman. I do side with my emotional and analytical side. So like this could apply to me, but you know, it doesn't. I don't think this is always going to apply to every single woman. There are some nonchalant women out there that are like, I don't give a fuck, like whatever. Like you can find a girl like that. So if you feel like this is too much for work for you as a man, maybe seek out a more simpler woman that can get through their issues like that. If you don't want to go through all that. So
okay, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you at the end of the video.
Okay.
Solutions. Ask questions, give her that space to fully explore the issue. With women, what you tend to find is that their problems are bigger than the male mind can often even comprehend because everything is interconnected. Like this issue is connected to this issue, which has implications for this issue and this issue and this issue. And she needs to fully explore the whole thing. That's just sort of how women are. Nothing is simple. Like as men, we might like to sort of think of our problems as easily segmented into nice categories. We can put them into boxes, but women aren't like that. Everything is interconnected. The mind of a woman is more complex than most men can imagine, and you might never experience what it's like to be a woman, but just be humble enough to appreciate that there's something going on in her mind that you as a man don't really understand. And if this is her problem, then she needs to be the one to explore it at her pace. You coming in with your overly masculine way of doing things, that's not going to play well in your relationship. So what she's really looking for is a man who has enough love for her, enough patience to give her the space so that she can explore the issue on her own terms and in its entirety. Only when she has done that can you move on to step 3, which is...
Okay, before we go on to step 3, what are your thoughts about step 2 of the fully explore the problem, giving the woman, I guess, time, space, and etc. for her to even explore those problems?
Just like he said, it takes so much patience, and I mean, that's just relationships. That's how they go. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of forgiving. Marriage too, you're going to have to forgive your partner for a lot of things, and so just be patient and understanding. Only you know your partner as well as they know you. So he said really good. Like, girls, we are complex, okay? Our mind, we try to connect all our problems together and it's just hard. So just be patient. If you really love the person, they'll be patient with you.
Man, all right. Let's continue.
This is so lovey-dovey and cute. I love it.
Help her find her own solution. Now, a lot of guys are thinking,
I'm getting stressed out just listening to this.
Stress.
what? Help her find her own solution? Are you serious? Like, I helped her with her emotions. I helped her explore the issue, on her own pace. Surely now it's my time. I can step in and do what I'm good at. I can give her the solution to her problem. I've known for 20 minutes what she needs to do, and I've been so patient. Isn't now, the time for me to reward myself? Can't I finally speak my mind and tell her what she needs to do? Sorry. No. Alright, if you have done the first two steps absolutely perfectly, then yeah, you probably will have built up enough credibility that if you just want to step into that point and say, here's what you need to do, she'll probably listen because she's grateful for how well you've handled the beginning of this. But if you're shooting for that absolutely perfect boyfriend score, then there's just a little bit more work you need to do. The end goal is going to be the same, but you're going to have to be a little bit more subtle about it, because while she does want your help and she does appreciate your masculinity, nobody really enjoys being dictated to. Nobody enjoys being ordered to do something. What she would prefer in a partner is somebody who can help her brainstorm possible solutions, where she is an equal contributor in coming up with ideas. She wants to sit down with her boyfriend and talk through the merits of all the possible choices she could make. She wants somebody to bounce ideas off, someone who can weigh the pros and cons with her. And then once she's done that, she wants to be able to make that decision for herself and to feel empowered by that choice. If you take over too strongly, then you make it about you, and it should be about her. She's the one with the problem. She's the one who is feeling diminished, and what you could do to help her most is to help her gain clarity over what the next step is that she wants to take. You can express your preferences, you can make your suggestions, and if she's obviously going down the wrong path or she's facing the wrong direction, you can be passionate about expressing those preferences, but you don't want to be so forceful that you take away her autonomy. Now, the reason that you should step back and play more of a supportive role is because that's what's best for her, and if you love this girl, then you should do what's in her best interest. But if that's not enough for you, let me rephrase it and break it down for you in a way that this approach is practically and selfishly in your best interest as well. If you found the whole process of listening to and validating her emotions tiring, like you really tested your patience to let her explore the problem in its entirety, then ideally you don't want to have to deal with that too frequently, right? Like, it's exhausting. And so conversely,
I already know where he's about to get at, but I don't want to interject my masculinity into the video yet.
You want a partner who's going to be as autonomous and self-sufficient as possible, right? Yep. That way she doesn't have constant meltdowns. She's not constantly facing problems. She knows how to handle herself. She's had practice at it. Well, if you always jump in and solve all of her problems for her, then she's never going to get that practice. But if you help her to find her own solutions and you just support her in that, then she's going to grow in autonomy, confidence, and self-sufficiency, and you're going to have to deal with this issue far less. So
okay, he said some very interesting things on that last third one. What are your thoughts?
I agree 100%.
Yeah, what I got from it was basically do the hard work first, so that way you don't have to do more work later.
Frequently, yeah.
Instead of doing little pieces of work each and for the rest of the whole relationship, just do the hard work first and then less and less
it's
later.
like a healthy pattern to instill. Like, it's starting off pretty strong and healthy, like someone that helps you and support you, and that way you feel that you won't need them as much. It's kind of like training wheels, I guess, for a relationship. Like, this is a good layout thing to go through. So no, I agree with that 100%.
Okay.
Beyond your
got none of that. Okay, all right.
Do you see how it's in the long-term best interest of you and her that you play that supportive role, that you help her find these solutions herself? Which leads us to the final step, which is support for her moving forward. Once she has made her choice and she knows how she wants to fix her problem, let her know that you're on board, you're behind her, you support her. Even if she came up with a solution herself, it's going to be reassuring for her to know that she's got a man in her corner. Because even if women, in this sort of day and age don't really like to admit it, it is incredibly reassuring if she's taking bold action out in the world to know that behind the scenes there is a man behind her, ready to step in if necessary. She wants to know that she's got that masculine support. This is the correct way to handle those situations when your girlfriend comes to you with a problem. And ladies in the audience, like I said, please back me up. If I'm wrong, tell me why. And if I'm right, please explain to everybody your experiences. Let's help demystify this whole process so that more men get it, which will lead to happier and healthier relationships everywhere, which is the point of this channel. Now, there is one final thing that we need to speak about, and this one's really important. There are occasionally situations where a woman is so frightened or so overwhelmed that this isn't the procedure that you need to be employing. There are cases where a woman shrinks back to being a little girl, and actually what she does want is a big, strong man to come in, to beat up the bad guys and to sort out the problem for her. She's lost and she needs you to step up. And as a masculine man, that should be within your skill set. You should have the capacity to do that, and you should be ready to do that. The question is,
when?
Well, when do you do that, and when do you not do that? Like, are you meant to be playing the protective role or the supportive role? The way to judge that is based on how emotional she is. For minor issues where she's only got a small to moderate amount of emotion, then you're largely safe just playing the supportive role. You know, be there for her, but step back. Let her find her own way through the issue. But if she comes to you and she's in complete meltdown, then you may need to do more than this 4-step process. You might need to really step in and take charge. But trust this 4-step process for most problems. When she comes to you complaining and you handle it with this kind of sensitivity and patience, she's gonna think you're the best boyfriend ever. She will trust you, she'll feel seen by you, supported by you, and that's gonna generate so much love and loyalty from her. She's gonna feel so much affection. She's gonna brag to her girlfriends about how amazing her boyfriend is. Don't be surprised if after, you know, a problem arises and you handle it as delicately and sensitively like this, that afterwards she's just feeling so safe with you, so much love, that she drags you into the bedroom right then and there, because that's one of the ways that women express that feeling of safety. When you apply your masculinity with just the right touch, it creates a sexual response in women. Enjoy it. You earned it.
Aww.
Wow. All right, so that was a lot to unpack. So overall, it seems like you agreed with with everything that he said throughout the whole entire video.
Yes.
Okay, do you have anything to add?
Just like pretty much, the whole layout isn't going to apply to every single woman. One thing I will say, I think, is kind of pay attention to how her parents reacted to her problems when she was little.
Okay.
I feel like psychologically, the way parents react, because like I've had friends that don't know how to handle their situations because their parents baby them through everything. So when they're out in the real world, they have meltdowns, and it's just like, oh, like I need my mom, I need my dad. Like that is kind of the whole like protective type of person they need versus like supportive. Like my parents have always been supportive, so I'm kind of easier off on my own. Like I could follow that last layout. Like I just need support versus protection. So I typically pay attention to how the people's relationships with their parents are before jumping into a relationship, and how they handle things, how their parents send them off and all that, their autonomy, how they react to situations. So
okay, now for you personally, if a guy basically bulldozes each and every problem that you present to him, how does that affect you and your relationship with that guy?
Well, it like disregards, like brushes it off their shoulder?
Not necessarily
like,
brushes it off the shoulder. We can explore that one as well, but I meant more as you tell me a problem and then I'm just trying to hurt and fix it, like blah blah blah.
I see that as kind of a red flag, because it feels like you kind of don't really listen. Like you're just trying to get it off the table and just try to be constantly happy, and you kind of avoid the reality of the fact that there's gonna be obstacles in your relationship, and you need to actually sit, think them through, fix them, and get them done, instead of just bulldoze. Because then some people get left behind. Like, you know, like when people say like, oh, I forgive you, but they don't fully forgive you, it just feels like you're trying to brush it off still, in a sense. But it's kind of passively. Like you seem like you're trying to do something good, but you're not really getting the full grasp of the situation. Okay,
so for you personally, have you dealt with relationships where someone was a bulldozer, quote unquote, versus when someone was a more of a supporting role?
Yes, I have. I've experienced like both in the same relationship. Like there's some things like, you know, I've lived with someone once, and there's times where we needed to get furniture and they're just like, nah, we're fine. Like, let's go party. It's like, no, like we need to sit and figure this out. Like we're grown. Let's figure it out. Don't brush that off because it's not going to work out. Like I promise it's not going to work out. Versus like, no, like, yeah, no, take it, like, let's work together, we'll throw in together on this, and, like, if there's anything else we need, we'll figure it out, it'll be okay, it's fine. Like, I've had both, you know, so I prefer the supportive one, obviously. I don't really like people that bulldoze over problems because it makes you feel like you're not heard, you're not seen, like you're not actually actively listening to me.
Okay, so pushback question. Would you rather live a life like that versus a life where the person already kind of knows the problems and basically solves them while they happen quickly so you can move on through life?
I would rather live a life with someone where nothing's premeditated, they don't have an idea, like we work through it together, because in that way I kind of learn how you problem solve as well.
Okay.
And what works best for you versus like you think you know me, like if I don't know anything about you, then like how am I gonna help you with your problems when you have them?
Okay.
Or know if you don't need help with your problems when you have them. So
Okay.
I'd rather work through situations together just to know how we work together as a team.
Okay, more specifically, what I mean, like, let's say you're dating an older guy, and this older guy has a little bit more money than you. He has been through a little bit more life than you, obviously. I would hope so. He has a little bit more experiences. He's a little bit wiser. Again, I would hope so. And you go through a situation where he already basically knows how to handle that particular situation. Would you rather him do the supportive role and take days or, you know, weeks or however long it took to fully dive in the emotions of that problem, or just be like, hey, let's do this, and this so we can solve this problem and get out of it and live life?
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
That's a hard one. I
Yes.
think that kind of depends on my emotional state at the problem, because I feel, or at this time of the situation. Because realistically, like if I'm clouded by my judgment, I'm not going to be able to sit there and be like, okay, I'm going to listen to your, like, you know, like let's go ahead and knock it out the way. If I'm clouded by my emotions, I'm going to want to go through the step-by-steps. But I feel like if I get so overwhelmed and I kind of shut down by the situation, I'm like, I just want it off my chest, then I'll just go off with the one, like, okay, let's get it off.
Let's get it over
the
with.
table, yeah.
Okay.
So I think it depends really, honestly, but still kind of would prefer like going through the motions of it.
Okay. Let me ask you, for you personally, do you believe that men lead and women follow?
You know, it's funny because you asked me this last time and I disagreed, but a part of me wants to say like women can lead. But for the most part, in the place that I am in my life right now, this is subject to change. So you're going to keep asking me this every time we do an interview, all right? And watch it just go, wee. But right now, I'm comfortable with men taking the lead. As of now, all right? Y'all don't catch me in 4K.
She changed.
Okay? I changed up on the team, okay?
She changed up on the team. All right. Okay, can we ask what made this change or no?
Honestly, I kind of think it was this video right here. I like him. I like him a lot and his content. Like it gave a good perspective. Like if I see that men would take the lead comfortably,
Gotcha.
taking the time to know and understand women's emotions and complexities, like then yeah, I'll give you the credibility and let you lead.
So basically, you just have to be worthy of leadership.
Yeah.
Not just because you got a dick, you
not
need to
just
lead.
because you're a man, yeah.
Yes, gotcha.
That's
Gotcha.
perfectly well said, yes. If you have the qualities to lead, then I believe you can be a leader. By God, you got it.
Okay, well, there you guys have it. Where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Isabel Hernandez is, or Twitter is 525.
All right, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it. Make sure you subscribe to his channel because his channel is fire.
He's awesome.
But I'm out. Peace.